conservatives. And
is this not total 1984? They admit they're doing it. It's happening. There's a Senate investigation. You talk about it, and then they remove it and say it doesn't exist. I mean, that is incredible.
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely incredible. And you know what? I've been banned before for posts that should not have been banned, and I could not contact Facebook to get my account back and just had to wait a week. If INFOWARS had not reported on this, if Drudge Report had not reported on this, Facebook wouldn't have given a crap. They would have left me banned, and my account may have disappeared by now. But they wanted to save face. They wanted to save face, so they contacted my personal email and said that this was caused by human error. Now, everyone knows the moderators. When you flag a post on Facebook, the moderator has to look at it and decide, does this fit our community standards? And that moderator looked at that post twice, because he first banned the first one that was removed, and then looked at the second one where I was complaining about it being removed and banned that one as well. That wasn't just an accident. That was on purpose. And Facebook knows it. They've come out and finally admitted it. And yet you still have establishment people like Glenn Beck coming out and saying, this isn't happening. I don't know why he's saying that. It's very strange. Maybe it's because it's majority Trump supporters that are being banned. I don't know, but it's definitely happening, and it's very scary. You have 60% of millennials get the majority of their news from Facebook and that trending timeline. How much damage is this doing that they're not getting both sides of the story?
New World Order pawns, unbeknownstly posing as bleeding heart liberal pundits thirsty for the rewards promised them by their globalist masters, are ushering in nothing less than a modern-day inquisition targeted at so-called climate deniers. The scourge of falsehoods has now reached American college campuses. The Weather Channel reports a resolution passed by the Portland, Oregon School Board will eliminate words like may, might, and could from the district's curriculum. But it's not English lessons where these words will cease to appear. Rather, it's in science classes, in the context of climate change and its causes. Last week, the Portland Public School Board unanimously passed a resolution which directs schools to abandon the use of any adopted text material that is found to express doubt about the severity of the climate crisis or its root in human activities. The resolution broadly calls for all Portland schools to develop an implementation plan for climate literacy. Where have we heard this attack on the minds of our future before?
When my opponents say we won't join you, I just say your children are mine already. What are you? In time you will die. But your sons and daughters stand forever in my new camp, and in a short time they'll know nothing else but this new community.
Ihr seid einmal Deutschlands Zukunft, denn ihr seid einmal Deutschland. Ihr seid einmal unser Volk. Ihr seid einmal nicht die Hoffnung.
As far-fetched as those examples may appear, just take a look at the alarmist panic sweeping Washington, D.C. due to lining the pockets of Al Chicken Little Gore with carbon taxes. Let's take a look at the boogeyman himself. Here are a few of the most inconvenient lies presented by Al Gore and debunked by British Judge Justice Michael Burton and the Science and Public Policy Institute in 2007, when Gore's An Inconvenient Truth was being considered as part of the public school system. Newsmax writes, the expected 20-foot rise in sea levels caused by melting ice caps, the judge accepted that this rise might happen, but only over the course of thousands of years. The shutting down of the ocean conveyor. The judge claimed the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change said this Gulf Stream may slow down, but it won't stop completely. In the Al Gore global warming movie, the former vice president says the hurricanes are getting stronger due to global warming. The Science and Public Policy Institute says there has been no change in the strength of hurricanes over the past 6 decades. Gore said Pacific islands are drowning. Science and Public Policy points out that Gore's claim that low-lying islands near New Zealand are being evacuated is not due to global warming, but the unwise dynamite practices of the local fishermen. Eric Steig of RealClimate.org points out some further flaws in the movie's science. A link between CO2 emissions and invasive plant species. Gore makes this link. Steig says the invasive plant species is due to changes in the way land is being used, not global warming. Sorry, New World Order. The brainwashing is so historically cyclical that the growing majority isn't buying it anymore.
Science is going to produce a new way to our civilization that is so sensational that we will turn off our use of CO2, and when we turn off our fossil fuel, the whole thing's over. It's over. We're not producing any more CO2. They don't have a basis to complain. Their whole gripe fest dies.
In fact, it's only a matter of time before the true culprits responsible for the rising water levels and disappearing coastlines are held accountable. The globalist corporatocracy is devouring the world's coastlines with zero regulations. Sand is essential to make toothpaste, detergents, computers, mobile phones, our homes, skyscrapers, and that's just scraping the surface. No pun intended. Sand is the most widely consumed natural resource on planet Earth, second only to fresh water. Follow the money. Are you actually surprised that the globalists are the true threat to the planet Earth? They will extract every dime from it and us until the devastation is irreversible. And who gets the blame? As a handful of globalists sit in their palatial mansions on the islands made from the very sand raped from million-year-old ecosystems essential to the delicate balance created by nature itself, while the rest of us drown. You get the blame, sucker. John Bound for INFOWARS.com.
It's very reasonable that the recent trouble in Paris is a result of climate change. Small and medium farmers have abandoned their farms because there's not enough water, not enough rainfall. Young people have gone to the big cities looking for work. There's not enough work for everybody. So the disaffected youth, as we say, the young people who don't believe in the system, believe the system's failed, are more easily engaged and more easily recruited by terrorist organizations.
Indiana officials, 85 test positive for TB bacteria. Oh, and they wonder why it's suddenly exploding all over. 4 refugees with infectious tuberculosis sent to Indiana. This is where they admit they sent people there that they knew had it. Now, let's continue. It's a lot more than that. Record 499 Syrian refugees admitted to U.S. Folks, it's thousands in Austin. So that's, number one, that's a lie, but listen to this. Record 499 Syrian refugees admitted to U.S. so far in May. No Christians. Syria's 20% Christians. They're the real refugees. Obama will not let them in. Welcome back. I'm your host, Alex Jones. Wayne Madsen, investigative journalist, is going to be joining us to cover the waterfront, the full spectrum of news, and take your phone calls. His latest article is up on INFOWARS.com. CIA links top Hillary donor Soros to terrorist bombing. Soros is a major contributor to Hillary Clinton's campaign. I mean, we've got the Polish deputy minister. We've got, the president. We've got the president of Hungary. We've got German leaders in their Bundestag. We've got just incredible news here and documents being released. There's multiple declassifications on Soros right now. It's just incredible. It's incredible how evil this guy is. He even tried to crash the British pound. So in the new James Bond movie, the Quantum Group is the private corporation behind Spectre. And there's a George Soros character that just wants to ruin the world and be mean because he hates people. This is the real head of Spectre. Just give me a break, man. Some weird Nazi collaborator who actually has cats and an oxygen tank? Yes, we will kill James Bond. I mean, you cannot make it up. Give me a break. And I've said this before, it's just weird. Both my grandfathers are dead now. They were both in World War II in the Army Air Corps. Both of them barely survived. One of them in a crash landing, the other plane shot up. And then their base got bombed, my dad's dad, and he got hurt, Purple Heart. So didn't go up, and then a few missions in, his whole crew got killed. Barely didn't make it fighting the Nazis. And then I've got to sit here and you've got to sit there with a guy who was all the way back in World War II, a top Nazi collaborator, helping round people up. We have to put up with his crap. And then the Southern Poverty Law Center and ADL give him awards as a Jewish leader when he is the greatest living Nazi war criminal. And then he runs Media Matters and all these other groups attacking us. You people that work at those places, you are just horrible people. Because you're not just calling me a Nazi, you work for one who's anti-free speech and is putting Nazis in places like Ukraine. I mean, how freakish is that? I just can't believe it. It's so rich. It's just such horse manure. I've had Media Matters call me before years ago just for fun. I'd actually do the interview with their so-called, editor. They go, and you're not anti-Semitic? And I'm like, no, not like George Soros that funds you. He doesn't fund us. I pulled up Election Commission documents while I was talking to him and said he was their #1 funder. And they went, well, thanks for the interview. And I said, all you were doing this for was to act like you were actually a journalist. You're not a journalist. You're a hack. Our government's funding Sunni radical Muslims that have killed 300,000 people conservatively in Syria, most of them Christians, and Obama won't let one out. Now, Larry Nichols is former Green Beret, special ops, working for the CIA, you name it, obviously. He's not supposed to get into all that. And then went to basically interface with the Dixie Mafia that runs the South. The Dixie Mafia is the shadow government. It's mainly Democrats. Democrats here in town are Dixie Mafia. But, they run the show. And then when the Clintons started killing kids and stuff, he said, look, I'm not going to be part of killing 13-year-old kids and see drug shipments. We're not doing it. There's no reason to kill those kids. And so he went out against them, and the rest is history. And most folks don't know who he is because it's been 20 years since the whole Clinton thing. It's good that Trump's bringing all this back up. And Nichols told us here on the show, what day was Nichols on? He told us last week that this would be coming out in the next 2 weeks. Well, it has come out. Trump in the Washington Post, everywhere else, saying, hey, Vince Foster, very mysterious, needs to be investigated. He's talking about the rapes. All of it, it's happening. And Nichols says more is about to come out. Here to drop that bombshell is Larry Nichols, a man who has incredible courage. And he took photos of the black government SUV pulling up in his yard, pulling out in the rural area. And then the cops came and told him, what are they doing? And they said, we're feds, Homeland Security. You can't get out of here. They wanted our viewers and everybody else to know we're on you when we were talking about the Supreme Court Justice, Scalia. I mean, this is a very serious time, folks. The enemy's moving. Censorship is moving. I've never seen such movement, and it gives me goosebumps. But not a fear. I'm actually just exhilarated, though. I mean, I feel like the fight's here now. I feel crazed, quite frankly. God bless you, my friend. I hope you're doing okay. I know you can't even be on video Skype with us, but we're praying for you. NicholsLive@AOL.com is your PayPal. Folks need to support you. I know you're battling cancer, my friend, but we'll talk about that at the end of the interview. Thank you, Mr. Nichols, for coming on.
You bet, Alex, and thank you, buddy. And let me say, I know we need to talk about Foster, but folks, you better be prepared. You better be prepared because we are at the beginning of the end of this silent coup. Alex, it's now or never. We're going to come out of this either the nation we were or the nation we never wanted to be. But it's now, and it's on us. And people have got to use you. I hate to say it that way, but they've got to use INFOWARS as a medium. I respect more than you can know because, I understand the little talk show world, but I respect you for bringing people from other media sources in without being jealous. Folks, this is no time for everybody to divide up and this group go their way, this group. Look, We've got to communicate and get the word out. And I would tell everybody, get on Alex's email list. You will learn very soon why that's important. You will learn. It's coming. I'm sorry, Alex, I didn't mean to blurt in.
You've got the floor. I mean, let's get into all of it.
Well, all right, let's get into all of it. Let me tell you something. You see today, Trump brings out Vince Fall.